Daines.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Before we get started, I want to give a special and warm welcome to a group of close-up students from Hardin, Montana, from the Crow and Northern Cheyenne tribes as well. So good to have you here watching your government in action. Thanks for being here. I have a question for Councilman Headress, and it's great to have you here and to have Montana so strongly represented here, up here in the dais as well as on the stand, and in fact, actually in the crowd as well.
Thank you.
Thanks for making the time to come out here. I'm proud to be a co-sponsor of the Irrigate Act, and I want to express my support additionally for funding rural water projects at Fort Peck, at Rocky Boy, and other BOR projects, in addition to the projects included in this bill. I look forward to working with my colleagues in this committee to move forward on these important projects for Indian Country and for the state of Montana. Councilman Headress, I was struck by a comment you made in your testimony. You mentioned that the total backlog of deferred maintenance on the Fort Peck irrigation system is $12.7 million.
Yes, sir.
How quickly do you expect that number to increase if we continue to delay maintaining this project?
Thank you, Senator Daines. Right now, we actually think the deferred maintenance cost is closer to $16 million. But the best number we had is from the BIA's 2014 assessment. So I would say that those costs have increased by at least $4 million.
Wow. And could you elaborate further on the importance of agriculture on the Fort Peck Reservation and where it ranks in terms of industries for your communities?
At the present time, agriculture is a primary industry for both the tribes and many of our members. Even in years when we had an oil and gas boom or mini boom at Fort Peck, the income from farm and grazing leases was between 30 and 50% of the revenues in the tribal budget. When oil and gas lease income is low, agriculture is even more important. While I cannot say exactly the percentage of families on the reservation supported by agriculture, I think it is fair to say that is likely close to 30% of the families.
And you know, it's Montana's #1 industry. It's a $5 billion industry across our state.
Yes, sir.
How would this project benefit the viability of agriculture for the tribes at Fort Peck?
Senator Daines and committee, the repairing the project would allow us to put our land and revenues to better use, and it will make sure that we are able to productively use our farmlands. This will greatly help us to efficiently use our water resources also.
Thanks, Councilman Headress.
Thank you.
Secretary Washburn, as we look to fund these essential projects, we also must be aware that we can't keep adding to the national debt. We're staring at $18 trillion today. The CBO came out with their latest projections. We're going to be $26 trillion over the course of the next 10 years, $5.6 trillion of interest in the next 10 years on the debt alone, and that's probably assuming some pretty conservative interest rates. In your view, what are some ways where we can find savings in the budget of BIA or the Department of Interior more generally to fund these irrigation projects and other high priority items for Indian Country?
Thank you, Senator Daines. Let me not raid my colleagues in the other parts of the Department of the Interior. I wouldn't be welcome back if I started offering up other people's budgets.
We'll welcome you back. That's all right. So.
Thank you. You raised a really hard question. We have a lot of priorities, particularly in Indian affairs, all of which we cannot possibly meet. And this is one of the frustrating things we face every day because we don't have all the money that we would like to accomplish everything we need to do. Irrigation projects are not the only place where we have a backlog in maintenance and deferred maintenance. Schools, detention centers, other areas. And so that's why these things are so difficult. Indeed, many institutions tend to let go of long-term maintenance type stuff to save money so they can do other things. Whenever budgets get tight, that's one of the first things that people turn to is let's stop taking care of the stuff we have now and doing routine maintenance. And so that's a little bit of how we got here. There's some other complications to that, but it's not easy to find the funds to pay these sorts of things. And if the administration has concerns, it's largely around those. How do we pay for this?
Yeah, and the concern is these continuing delays. The price keeps going up, deferred maintenance keeps going up, and we're losing the economic growth opportunities here, which create more taxes and so forth here, and for our people in Montana. What I'd ask for is, could I get your commitment that we could work together to find the necessary savings? It's never easy. on the budgeting process. I understand that. But I think we could work together to prioritize some of these essential items like these irrigation projects, because I just don't want to keep introducing these bills over and over again, and we're kind of coming back and recycling the same testimony. And let's figure out a way to get it done.
We're happy to work with you, Senator, and with the leadership of the committee. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.